Welcome, 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 everyone. We are back with Conversations with Katrice, and we are so excited to be here tonight. It's been 2 weeks, as promised. Our last guest was Miss Pat Dixon, and she came on and we talked. We had a great conversation around finances, about how sometimes the African American community struggles with just issues about life insurance and those types of things. So if you want to go back and check that out, you can on the Curse Stops Here Facebook group page. You can also see it on in the family Bible study group page. So we are doing some exciting things. A lot of things have happened to me and my ministry and the people that support what God has called me to do in this earth. It's since the last time we talked. Those of you who don't know, we've already told you about our new book called The Creatives, which was launched this year, and it is now, I am a co-author in this book, and it made the international bestsellers list, and we are excited about that. You can get it on at my website, katricecornettministries.org. If you would like to purchase a copy, I'll sign it for you and send it right on out to you. But it's some great information about being a creative and how that really helps you in the leadership capacity. We have great authors, my sister Yvette Owens, Elaine Sanders Mayfield, Bubby Fan, a couple authors from different countries. So that's what made us international. And then when we launched it, it just went like that. We have had some great reviews on the book, and we are actually a couple of people are inquiring about getting it to be a part of their curriculum in their schools. So we're really excited about what God is doing with that. Those of you who have been watching know that I did a relaunch of Ordained. What I did was I took it down because, if you've been following me, you know that we were blessed to launch a music distribution company in 2020 during COVID. Then we launched a record label last year. And so what I did was I took it down off of the other distribution companies, and we actually put it back up on our platforms with a couple of new singles are in there, and all of my favorites from Ordained. So we're excited about that and the traction that it is getting. Those of you who were thinking about coming to the workshop, which was supposed to happen next Saturday, we are postponing it, and we're going to move it to another date because Cornerstone Community Church is doing big things in Vineland, and their calendar is very busy. And so we're going to move it to another date because my friend, who is the minister of music there, he really wants his praise team to be involved. So we're going to look for another date for that. But we are going to do it, just not this coming weekend, which it would have been October 28th. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that. I believe I refunded the registration fee to everyone who paid. If you did not get your registration fee back, please, please, please inbox me or let me know so we can make that happen. Tonight one more thing, and this is just not it's just I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what is happening, okay? Last week, I found out that I was nominated. My name was submitted for a Grammy consideration. I still don't know the song. I don't know what's going on. This guy, a gentleman that I work with in the industry, who is on the staff for the Grammys, submitted me as an artist for a Grammy consideration. I believe that's the first step. I have no idea what happens or what the process is, but I'm gonna find out, because if God be willing, y'all know I've been telling y'all this my whole career as an artist. That was not my goal. My goal is to get the word of God to people through song, to be able to minister pure, authentic worship to God's people so that lives can be changed, people can be healed, set free, and delivered. But if God opens that door, you can best believe Katrice Cornett is walking through it, and I'm bringing my team with me. So we are excited, humbled, blessed, and just the journey has just been so amazing. Just never expected it. And so we'll see what God does with it, because it's all up to him, not me. So I'm just along for the ride, a willing vessel for him to use me in any way he wants to. So I thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time, please, please, please let me know where you're watching us from. Sign in and let us know that you're here. And don't be afraid to get involved in the conversation, because that's what this is, Conversations with Katrice. So without further ado, I don't even know how to introduce this gentleman. He's just somebody special to me. Him and his wife, I've known them mostly all of my life, like from since I was a teenager. We grew up in church together. We grew up singing together. Hi, Joyce from Vineland. Glad you're on. Thanks for tuning in. And we just, I don't know. It's just something, you know how when people are family, they're just family. And no matter how long it is in between the time we talk or how often we talk, he's always the same. He's always encouraging. He always has something to say, which makes what he does very like just who he is. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just who he is naturally. And it's just a blessing for them to be in my life. I am so grateful that God connected us. They have been like number one fans of mine. If I'm doing a release or anything, I can guarantee you if I look out in the audience, they will be there, you know, and it's just been like that forever. So I am so privileged, honored, and excited to have a conversation with my dear, dear friend, Ralph Graves Jr. tonight. And I'm going to bring him on and we're going to greet all of the people who are signing in together. Hi. And I told him I told him when I was doing the promotions and stuff, I'm so used to saying, hey, Pastor, or Graves, you know, and it was weird because I was trying to, you know, present him in the light as, you know, on his business side, not so much the ministerial side, because that's just who we are. But
Yeah.
welcome to our platform. I'm excited that you said yes, because
Well,
I know
hello there.
you're busy.
Hello to everyone. I'm excited to be on. I'm so glad that that you would have me on such a
What?
wonderful platform. I'm loving
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
I'm loving it, and I was grinning from ear to ear. We are your biggest fan, and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the first step of
Yeah,
winning a long overdue Grammy.
thank you. Thank
Long
you.
overdue.
Thank you.
And I'm going to give God a I'm going to pray. I'm going to give him a praise right now. I'm a praise on credit right now. I'm a praise
Yes,
him right now.
hallelujah.
For
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. So welcome, 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 Preston. How are you? It's good to see you. Glad you're on. And I don't know who this is, so we're just gonna keep it going.
okay.
Joyce says hi. Somebody didn't put their name in, but
Hey, Sister
it's okay.
Joyce and Preston, how are you guys?
Yeah. So anyway, so tell us, I want you to introduce yourself to our um
Okay.
listeners. Tell them who you are, what you do, and how you got into doing what you
Okay.
do. You know,
Well,
Pat, he is am I saying this right? A transformational coach? Is that correct?
transformational speaker, coach.
Speaker.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Well, first of all, everybody, my name is Ralph Grace Jr. Um, I do pastor. I'm the senior pastor of Cornerstone Community Church in Vineland, New Jersey for the last 18 years. I'm a retired police officer where I served within the state of New Jersey for 20 years. I'm born again. I love the Lord. I'm married, been married 32 years, 3 adult children, 3 beautiful grandchildren. And, I just love where I am right now in life and how God is using me. So yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, being a transformational speaker, do
Yeah.
you actually is there a goal you try to reach when, like, say I invited you to come
Mhm.
and speak? First of all, are you an interactive speaker? You know, like I like people who engage the audience, you know.
Yeah, I
So
am. And I think when people, I let them know off the top, I'm a pastor, but I don't come and preach to them. I stick
Right.
with the topic that they asked me to encourage their teams on a particular topic. But no, I'm very interactive. I use my body language. I use my voice. I use my
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
You know, I coached football for almost 20 years, so
Oh,
I bring a
wow.
lot of that coaching technique to that as well. And the key is to get the team to move and advance in the way that the company or the conference host is really trying to get the team to move in. So yeah, I work the stage, I walk back and forth, all those things.
That's good. That's good. So what is your main goal? Do you follow like your do you have a meter that you want to reach? You know what I mean? Like a metric or goal that you want to reach when you approach the stage or an event?
Well, I think the metric is, you know, you can feel the energy in the room. You
Yeah.
can feel getting people involved. It's, you know, I say all the time when you stand up, and I don't care whether you're at church or whether you're doing conferences or speaking over the nation. There's three type people in the audience, and I love dogs. I'm not calling people dogs, but if we were, they're like different dog breeds.
Mm-hmm.
You have the German shepherds, you have the golden retrievers, and you have the beagles.
Okay.
You know, the beagles may or may not like you. The German shepherds are not going to like you no matter what, and the golden retrievers are going to love you no matter what. And so the key is to move as many with the beagle personality into the group with the
I
golden
like it.
retriever personality, and we've had a very successful
Yeah, yeah,
conference.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I like that because I think I kind of approach worship the same way. Like
Yeah,
like you can scan the crowd. Like if especially when you are a believer, then you love the
yeah,
Lord and you are in His word. You're doing what you're supposed to do daily. There's a spiritual connection that happens this way first. And
yes,
so
yeah.
when you immediately walk into a room, you can feel the atmosphere.
Oh yeah,
So it's like I think I approach worship the same way. It's like you can scan the audience. You already know what's happening in the atmosphere, and so you kind of like try to. I'm always the one that's putting my eye on the person who acts like they don't want to stand up and get with me when I'm up there sweating and doing all of that stuff. I want that person right there. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I get
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get
And
that.
it's funny
Yeah,
because when you run into those people, um, and you see those faces that might be twisted up, they'll be the ones that'll come up and say, "You know what? What you just said just changed my life."
yes,
And my wife taught me that. She's like, "Listen, stop reading people's faces, trying to know what they're thinking, because they're just trying to process what you're saying." And it always seemed like the ones who have a twisted up face, they're the ones that come to you and say, "Wow, that really blessed me.
yeah,
I'm going to do things
yeah.
different now." Yeah, yeah,
One of the things I admire about speakers is how they it's like they kind of like even when it could be 500 people in the room, it's like the word you're speaking is just for me. Like is that a thing that you learn or how do you how is that happening when I'm sitting in a room with 500 other people?
well, it happens one of two ways. First of all, I approach every assignment like it was given to me by God. Matter of fact, I know it was given to me by God. So
Yeah,
whether it's at a non-Christian workshop or a workshop with believers or church workshop, God gave me the assignment. So I'm not there because um, I'm not saying what they need to hear, because He gives that to me, and He always gives the speaker a word that is tailor made for somebody. It's
yeah,
always he always will, if you really pay attention to him. See, here's the
yeah,
thing. I don't think God really, when He sends us out to speak or sing or whatever the case may be or whatever we're doing, we make the we try to separate the two. Okay, this is the church crowd. This is the crowd. He said, "No,
yeah.
I'm using you as my vessel to reach this particular group of people, and you just go ahead and let me use you, and what needs to be done will be done."
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because it just always amazes me how it's like and I like it's somebody sitting next to me and somebody always in the back row, but it's always like, okay, that was for me, but
Yeah,
how can he
yeah.
know I'm here? Like it could be somebody I don't even know, you
But
know?
I'll tell you this: you do need to study and understand where you're going.
Okay.
You just can't just show up, right? So if I'm with a particular industry that calls me in, I want to study that industry. I want to find
Hmm.
out what a few of their pain points are. Um, here's a strategy that I use. You just don't show up when you have to speak, but you show up at the happy hour. Now you don't have to drink with them, but you show up
Hmm.
at the happy hour. You get involved in conversation.
Yeah.
You talk to people about their lives, and you'll start hearing different pain points, and
Hmm.
you'll start talking about these particular points, not their situation, but you'll be talking about some things that really hit on them. You can't just show up as a stranger, so
Yeah.
you try to show up, you try to shake some hands, you try to smile for about an hour or so, and then get on back and get ready to get into your assignment. But if you study where you're going, if you take a minute to do your homework, and you'll kind of understand that
Yeah.
you understand leadership and the pain points that the whole company's going through, or some of the folks are going
Hmm.
through. Yeah.
We have a question. I'd like to welcome my friend Elaine Sanders Mayfield and Pat Dixon. Um, and we have a question. How did you become a transformational coach? Like, what's the process to get to where you are? Is there
Well,
licensing, that type of thing?
yes, there is. I mean, it's not, you just can't just wake up one morning and say that you
I'm
know.
going to be a transformational
Hey, listen. Be honest. I'll be honest with you with what's happening online and TikToks, and
Yes.
everybody has a word. I guess. But if you want people to write you checks and pay for your services, you got to have some credentials. Um, in 2015, oh no, it was before 2015. It was before I retired from the police department. I read a lot of books. I didn't waste my time just sitting in a police car. So I've read, and
Hmm.
I read a lot of leadership books by a guy named John C. Maxwell. And
I studied him too.
yeah, you can be mentored by people you never met. And I
Hmm.
found that he was holding a leadership conference in by 2015. I found out he was holding a leadership conference in Florida, and I said, you know what, it's time for me to go. And I went down to the leadership conference, and there I got certified as a John Maxwell speaker. So I got certified through his team,
Hmm.
and we got certified to teach a lot of his material and to use a lot of his material. We got the licensing for it, so it was an investment. It took some time, and you still have to work on your craft. But I'm also a member of the National Speakers Association,
Okay.
the Philadelphia chapter, and so I'm around a lot, and there's some qualifications and some things that you have to do to stay in that group. But I actually started, believe it or not, I started at a Toastmasters
Oh,
at Gloucester County College. For anybody who knows
okay.
where Gloucester County is, I started going to Toastmasters. Now I know I can speak. I always had the gift of gab, but I started at Toastmasters, and then we grew from there.
All right. Hi, Sister Grace. I absolutely love you. She is on. Hi. And hey, Pastor Lydia, how are you? She says, I love John Maxwell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pastor Lydia is an awesome speaker
Oh,
too.
my wife jumped on. Hey,
Yeah,
honey.
she's here. Yup. Yup.
Yeah.
Yup. So yeah, so you said something key,
Mhm.
investment.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've been watching this series where they interview people. It's a show where they talk to different artists and stuff like that
Hmm.
on streaming it. Anyway,
Yes.
because I like to learn about how people got to where they are and what they're doing in their life and all of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, a lot of time today, social media. Let's get this social media piece off of me. Social media has made it for easier for people to become stars, like you said, coaches without
Yeah.
no real investment. They just wake
Right.
up one day, and if they know what's the word, the way to use the platforms,
Yeah.
they can get 10,000 people to listen to them, right? Without actually putting in an investment. Let's talk about how important you believe putting an investment in, and not just monetary,
Yeah.
time and
Yeah.
training and sitting under people and having a mentor. Let's talk about how you feel about that.
Well, first of all, you have to write the check on yourself. If I don't write a check on myself, if I don't bet on myself, who else is betting on me?
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so
Yes.
yeah, so I make sure that I get in front of the right people. I make sure I write that check. I don't care. Listen, if it's too big, I'll wait till I get it. But no, it's very important. You talked about the social media platforms and the 10,000 people. I had at one point I had 10,000 quote unquote followers on
Mhm.
Instagram. I shut
Mhm.
it off
Mhm.
because that's monopoly. That's monopoly influence and monopoly money. Now
Yeah.
I just got back and rebranded myself. I found out of those 10,000, you get a lot of bots following you. It just wasn't real. And
Yeah.
so you can have all of that, but if you're not legit, if you're not real, that's like striking a match. It burns hot for a second,
Yes.
but it'll fade away. People know what's real. People know
Yes.
who's real.
Mhm.
Um, and the folks that I was trying to get in front of, and the folks who I'm in front of right now, they're not in those spaces.
That's right. They are
So
not.
so you have to be in the space with the people you're trying to get in front of.
Mhm.
Um, I say a lot of stuff that may rub some folk the wrong way. I say stuff like there's no beards in the boardroom, and our culture gets mad at me when I say that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I I there's a very, very, very tiny percent. My very good friend, he's a shot caller, got a got a beard, but he's like 1%. But
Mhm.
the shot callers, the guy, there are no beards in the board.
Yep.
So look at the room you're trying to get in
Mhm.
and prepare yourself for that room.
Yeah.
That room doesn't that room is not all over these
It's
social
true.
media platforms. That the real people that you want to influence and get in front of and work with, they're not. You just can't
Yeah.
click on your phone and they're there. No. So,
I
but you have
I
to make an investment to get there.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I never thought I wanted to manage, not because I don't manage. I never thought I wanted to work with artists on the level of the record label, but I absolutely love it. And one of
Yeah.
the things that I have to train their thinking, because
Mhm.
if you look at my social media, my person, you wouldn't know if I was in the hospital, you wouldn't know if I was mad at
No,
somebody,
no,
you wouldn't
no,
know if me and my husband had an argument, you wouldn't
no,
know that
no,
by
no.
looking at my social media. And
Mm-mm.
a whole different clientele of people in the industry that I'm trying to make a
Yeah,
difference in. The
yeah.
ones that really make the difference, they look for that kind of stuff. And so,
Right.
like, it's like you're teaching them, you don't need to say this. Stop putting this out. Like, you be so,
No.
because of the music, because music industry, and they're seeing what's out there, and this and that, or whatever. It's just crazy, changing their mentality.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that, and I guarantee you, the people you're trying to reach will find you. They will
They'll
find
find
you.
you.
Yeah.
What I've learned is that narrow it down. Stop looking for a wide audience. I'm relaunching my podcast in December. Had
Yes.
almost
Tell us
100.
about that. Tell us about your podcast.
It's called the Unstoppable Podcast. Ralph Grace Jr. It's based on a book I wrote a few years ago called Unstoppable, and where we bring stories of unstoppable courage and people that push through, people that move the stone, as we say at Cornerstone. Let me get real pastoral for a minute. When Jesus raised Lazarus, he told them, you move the stone. Now, the
Yeah.
stone wasn't the problem. If he's going to raise Lazarus, he can move the stone. But there's some work you have to do
Hmm.
to reach and to experience your miracle. So these people really have moved some stones in their lives and done some great things. But that's what's unstoppable about. And I forgot where I was going. Oh, when I first did the podcast, I was trying to reach everybody. If you go there,
Hmm.
I'm on. Listen, it's on Spotify. Wherever you get podcasts, it's out there.
Okay.
It's out there. It's on YouTube, my YouTube channel. It's everywhere, and they're really good episodes. But what I found that me and my team were doing, what I was doing, I was trying to reach everybody. But when you're doing a platform, you're doing a podcast, you want to reach one person.
Yes.
You want to ask the questions that one person in the audience that you're trying to represent would ask. And so when we began to narrow it down to one person, because that one person, there's millions of that one person.
Mm-hmm.
There's millions of that one person. And so we started narrowing it down to that. And so when we relaunch in December, it's exciting, and you'll see the interview style kind of change and whatnot. But I think the problem that a lot of us make is we want to reach everybody. You're not called to reach everybody.
Right.
If you get in your mind that I want to reach one person, meaning this type person, you will reach thousands, if not millions, of that type person.
Yeah, that is so real for me, because until I got that mindset, I wasn't happy in my music career. It was
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, they don't ever did that, they don't like me, they don't want me, this and that or whatever. But once I got that mindset that my style wasn't for everyone,
Right.
and now I'm just like, I love where I'm at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I want, first of all, I need God to like this, to be happy with what I'm doing. I need
Right.
him to trust me
Yeah.
enough to continue to download songs to me. Like the
Yeah.
same with you, like to continue to want to use you
Yeah.
to change people's lives as a
Right.
speaker, right?
Yeah.
So I need him to like me first, you know,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
then as long as I'm sticking to that, my audience will find me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
they'll come. And it was just, yeah, you got to know who it is. You got to know. Hey, Yvette, my sister Yvette, someone. Hi, Yvette.
Hey, Vet.
Yeah, she's a motivational speaker. She's more on the executive corporate side as well. She does speaking and stuff. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to, you can't be anybody but you.
That's right.
God wants to use you. You can't copycat. You can't
That's right.
you can admire, but you can't copycat.
Yeah.
I tell the young preachers that are with me, and I tell them, my pop used to tell me, man, listen, you can try to preach somebody's sermon, but
Yeah.
it wasn't yours.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
ain't gonna come
Yeah.
across the same. And so yeah, it's even like that in ministry. It's really understanding culture.
Yeah.
I understand the culture of Cornerstone Community Church.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, we're all believers, but everybody has a culture. You have to understand your audience and the culture of your audience. Who are you? Where are you trying to go? Who
Yeah.
is God using you to reach? You know, and so these are the things that you have to pay attention
Attention.
to.
Yes, you do.
Everyone has, has their audience. Everyone has their customers. Everyone has there's enough for everybody.
Yes, it is. But
That's
you
why.
have to be uniquely you
That's
in
right.
order for you to get your real,
Yeah.
or the people that are going to spend the money, the people that are going to
Yeah.
support you no matter
Yeah.
what, the people that are going to be there with you for the long haul. You have to be your unique self, or
Yeah.
else, like you said before, it's not going to be long lived.
And you have to put in the time. I have to talk about the 10,000 hours that you have to put in.
Yeah.
I have to talk about that.
Yes,
You
let's.
have to put in. I thank God that I have been, and when I say it, I'm like, man, I've been preaching for 30 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's
And
yeah,
30 years.
yeah, yeah,
30 years.
yes.
My youngest
Don't
son
say
is
it like
30.
that, because then I think about how old we are.
And
I know you
so,
are 30.
but
Yes.
I remember sitting at my father's feet and sitting at my uncle's feet and my Dutch uncles and folks like that. And I just, man, I want God to use me like that. And they said, listen, it's time to become seasoned and keep showing up, keep being
Yeah, 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 yeah.
consistent, keep being
Yeah,
authentically you. And here we are, 30 years have gone by,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and God has used me in great and mighty ways. And sometimes the way he used me, it blows my mind.
Mama,
But
me
it
too,
must
Pastor. Me too.
it must be consistent, and you have to keep showing up. That's that investment of time.
Mhm.
It's not just money, it's investment of time. It's investment of discipline. You know,
Yeah,
it's in if you're not reading, to me, if you're not a reader, you're not a leader. You have to be reading something or listening to audiobooks or something. But
Yeah.
I am I'm double nickels. I'm 55, but I still place myself under men and women,
Yeah.
couples that are where me and my wife want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's association, it's showing up, it's consistency, it's dedication, but it's fun.
Yes, it
It's
is.
fun. When,
Yes, it
when,
is.
when you find your stride. But I remember the early years. Listen, I remember my trial sermon. I remember my first sermon and my last one. All the ones in between, they're kind of kind of muddled up. But I remember
Yes.
my first one and my last one. And it's been a long time, but it's consistency, and it's showing up, and it's making that investment of time in who you truly know that you've been called to be and purpose to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So tell us about, you have another book called Get a Life.
Get a Life was the very first book that I wrote. Here it is, everybody. I can't do this
Yeah,
right.
we can see it. We can
Okay,
see it.
Get a Life.
Mhm.
Get a Life is a compilation. Now, Get a Life is sermons.
Okay.
It was a sermon series. And I'm just going, listen, we're on the show. I got nothing to hide. I am a manuscript preacher. I
Okay.
write my sermons every week.
That's,
Now, I don't
yeah.
try to impress people. I don't know. Listen, those brothers and sisters that don't have to look at, that's cool. But I manuscript on purpose because it becomes the books.
Yeah.
I don't have to write books. I have thousands of sermons and
That's
sermon
amazing.
series that can turn into books. And so Get a Life was the very first one that turned into a book. And and so it's from a series of sermons. It is a Christian book, and it's taken out of 3 sermons I preached years ago. And so that was the first one. I wanted to try doing it because, and I think everyone listening should write a book.
Yeah, that
My
the book that I co-authored with the other authors, that was the first time I actually authored a book. I
Yeah,
have over 50 songs written, but
yeah,
that was the first time I ever actually did a book, and it really is something different about that.
yeah, yeah. I see you, Pastor Ford. Amen. Shout out to all of us manuscript preachers. Amen.
Yes,
Hey,
yes,
listen, we could do a whole show on that. Okay.
yes,
There's outlines, there's manuscripts, there's expository preaching and topical preaching and narrative preaching and exegetical preaching. But you have to stay on. I know Pastor Ford
no,
is like,
this is
yes.
good. This
And
is
so
good.
and so you have to stay on course. That's why I use the manuscript. My father
Mhm.
told me a long time ago, and for those of you who don't know, my father pastored for over 40 years. He's going with the Lord now.
Yes,
He said,
awesome man of God.
pastoring is different than just preaching. Pastoring, if you're a major league pitcher, you got to get up, man, and you got to know how to throw a fastball, a sinker, a curveball, and you got to throw it every week, man. You got to throw it every week. So,
Yeah,
it's a like I said, I've been preaching 30 years. I've been pastoring 18 years, and it's 2 different things. But that
yeah.
manuscript, it keeps you on track to what God would have you to say. I don't know
Mhm.
if you ever sat down with some speakers, whether it be motivational, transformational, whether it be preachers or pastors, or whatever. They start in one direction and you don't even know where they went
And you be
somewhere
like,
else.
"Well, what just happened? What just
And
happened?"
and they can't reel you back in because they forgot where they were going. So
Yeah,
anyway, I don't even know how I started talking about
that
that.
was great. You was talking about your books and
Okay,
how
but
you
yeah,
how you write, how you got
get a
get a
life.
life. So
Now,
now,
Unstoppable, my other book, my last book, Unstoppable, is different.
mhm.
Unstoppable, it's you can get this on Amazon.
Yep.
It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. And what I did with Unstoppable, I used the 20 years experience that I had in law enforcement, and there's such thing as universal laws. I'm not talking, people call universe God. No, universe is not God.
Right.
Okay. There's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy
God,
Ghost.
the
I don't
Holy
want to talk
Ghost.
about, we know who God is. But universal laws are laws like gravity. That's a universal law. Like, I don't
Mhm.
care who you are. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're an atheist, If we all jump off the building, the Christian ain't gonna grow wings. Okay,
No.
he succumbs, or she succumbs to the law of
Of
gravity.
gravity.
It's a universal law. And so I wrote about 7 universal laws that I kind of like looked and I saw the lives of people who had experienced some success. Now, universal laws, it doesn't matter who you are, if you abide by them, you will experience success. The law of forgiveness is a universal law.
Yes.
The law of intelligent practice, I read about that. It's a universal law. The law of reciprocity, that's
I
probably
was
my
going to
favorite
say
one,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a
is a
good one.
universal law. I write about that. You know, the law of expectancy, I write about that. You know, and so I wrote about these 7 laws and how I saw them play out not only in my life but in the life of some folks that I watch use them. And so many people, you can't you can't prosper without being a giver.
That's true.
So you're violating this law of reciprocity. You're violating. Nothing's coming to you because nothing can flow through you. And I watch so many well-meaning believers and non-believers, and nobody done nothing for me. You don't do nothing for anybody.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
you know, and so,
Right.
you
What
know,
are you doing?
yeah, same thing with forgiveness and unforgiveness. Like, you have to forgive. And so I talk about what forgiveness really is.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean we have to continue in the relationship. It means that what you did to me can no longer affect how I live my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have been forgiven. Doesn't mean we have to stay in fellowship. Doesn't mean I have
Right.
to answer your calls. Doesn't mean I'll let you do it again. It just means I'm not holding on to it anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to. That's right. That's right, Yvette. That's right. That's right. And so I write about those things in Unstoppable. You can get that on Amazon, Amazon.com,
Yeah.
BarnesandNoble.com. And I have another book launching in January called Unbreakable. And that's all about resilience. I talk a lot about resilience in that book. And resilience is simply bouncing back or getting back up from difficult times. And we
Yeah.
wrote that. I was able to write that during the pandemic.
Mhm.
Things happen to all of us, but if you're going to be effective, if you're going to be successful, you have to be resilient.
Yeah.
I said in one of my videos, everything's not all right, but everything's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
fine. I'll
It's
put it
gonna
this
be
way.
fine.
It's different, but it's fine. That's what I said. It's
Yeah.
different, but it's fine. You got to have resilience.
Yeah.
Got to
Yeah.
have resilience, you know. So we talk about that.
Well, we're a little over time, but that's okay because we've been going over time for every
Yes.
speaker because you guys, God has just really been blessing us with amazing people on this
Yeah.
platform. When he gave me this idea, I was like, me? Like, yeah, okay. All right. I'm just done with all that. But okay, God, I will do it. But I wanna bring you back when you release your new book.
Okay.
We can talk about
Sure.
that. And once your
Sure.
podcast is up and running, you are now the Curse Stops Here and the Family Bible Study Group, their private Facebook pages. You had to be invited here
Wow.
by someone or
Okay.
myself. So
Okay.
this is going out to only, and the reason being is because the information that we talk about, the Curse Stops Here, you're unstoppable and you're unbreakable would be perfect for us to do like another
Okay.
thing, come back, because that's what it's about. It's about people who have been, I started it because of my journey in the music ministry in the place where I was really ready to quit because I
Wow.
didn't think that
Yeah.
they respected me or liked me. They were treating me horrible, this and that or whatever. And so the Curse Stops Here is a platform for people who need to break curses off of their life, generational, business, whatever it
Okay.
is. Like,
Okay.
I am
Good.
not thinking that way anymore.
Yeah.
I am God. God made me. I have a
Amen.
purpose,
Amen.
So yeah, we definitely need you to come back and we'll talk about the book. And what I said that for is when you do your podcast, if you tag us, I'll post them up on the page so people
Okay.
they
I'll
know
make
you
sure that
and they know
happens.
you. Yes. And so that you could share your podcast, your series, the ones that you would like to share with us there. You know what I mean? And I'll
Okay.
gladly post them up there. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds
Yeah,
great. I had a
yeah.
great time. Thank you,
Me
everybody.
too. So listen, everyone, if you would like to book, I can call him Pastor Graves now because he said it. I was trying to be very business-like, but that's what I call him, Pastor or Pastor Graves. You
Yeah.
can book Pastor Graves at your next keynote speaker at gmail.com, and his assistant will get in touch with you and get the information for you. You could also purchase the book Get a Life there on that's his personal website. And the other book, Unstoppable, is available on Amazon.com. When I tell you, Pastor and Sister Graves are genuinely loving, caring, they are a blessing to my life. And so if you don't know them, these are people that you would want to know. And I'm saying that in my personal Facebook groups because I already know the type of people who are in here. So these are people that
Amen.
you would want to be in your life. Somebody who can come and speak life into you, will love on you, and genuinely care about your situation.
Amen.
I am grateful that you said yes. I am
Amen.
grateful that you came on, and with the conversation was so good. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, yes, yes, yes." So you guys keep looking out because he's gonna be back. We'll bring him back.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah, but our
Yeah.
next guest is, I believe, it's my sister Donna, and Donna will be on with us. What's two weeks from now? What's that? November 9th, I think it is. And she'll be on, and she actually started a coalition in Clark County, Kentucky for equity in education. And so it's called the Clark County Equity Coalition. So she actually started that foundation there, and I'm having her come on and we're going to talk about that. Those of you who know me and know my family know that my parents were both educators, and that is something that is dear to our hearts. I retired from the educational system. My sister Thilana still works in education. So it is something that is very, very, very near and dear to our hearts. And so Donna is out in Kentucky making moves for equity in education out there. And so that's going to be an awesome conversation. So meet us back here on the Curse Stops Here or the Family Bible Study page 2 weeks from now on a Monday at 8 p.m. I'll be posting it and stuff like that. But I'm going to ask Pastor Graves to leave us with some encouraging words and something that we can take with us, and then we're out of here.
All right, I'm going to leave you with a story. You've got about
Okay.
30 seconds for the story
Yeah.
because it's very important for us to understand this, and you got to use this anyway. There was a pole climbing contest, climbing contest, but it was with frogs. The frog community had a pole climbing contest, and these little frogs would try to climb the pole, and there were a bunch of frogs down there yelling and screaming, cheering them on. And so as these frogs began to climb the pole, there were people down at the bottom of the pole. You'll never make it, you'll never make it, and give up, and frogs just kept falling off the pole. Well, one frog made it to the top, and when he came down the pole, the frog reporter, if you guys remember Kermit the frog reporter interviewed him, and he asked him a question. He said, "How was it that everyone else fell off, but you made it to the top?" He didn't respond. He said, "How was it that you didn't fall off, or everyone else fell off, and you made it to the top?" And he asked him a third time. And after the third time, he discovered that the frog that made it to the top was deaf. He didn't hear anybody say
Yeah.
anything. If you're going to make it, you're going to have to tune out every naysayer. You're going to have to tune out everyone that doesn't agree with the assignment that God is giving you. Dismiss all of those voices and keep climbing until you make it to the top. God bless you.
That was great. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time with Conversations with Katrice. Good night and God bless, and grace and peace be with you all.